Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris here with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a little video. We got this 2025 Ducati V4 Panigale that I am going to build. And that's what this video is about. We're going to go over some of what I plan on, and I've already gotten started with the build, and we're also going to break down a little bit of the costs. So as you can see on the ground, we have the öhlins FGRT 214 front forks. Obviously front forks, where else would they go? But we got those, but we're not gonna install them yet. We still have a few things we need to do, at least I wanna do before I install them. First and foremost, I wanna get this broken in, do the break-in miles, completely stock, and then I also wanna take it out to the track and do at least one little track day to see what it feels like, totally stock on track before we upgrade these, because I wanna give a really fair comparison to what these forks and then the shock that I'm going to bring, and obviously the steering damper as well. We'll get into all that, but I want to see what it all feels like, you know, apples to apples comparison. So let's kind of break down some of what we got coming in already. First and foremost, like I said, we got these beautiful öhlins FGRT 214 forks, and I went with the black line or black series, whatever you want to call them, because I always liked the way the Superleggera like black forks looked, and I'm kind of trying to replicate at least the style of it. I don't believe these are the same forks, I could be wrong, but we have these, which we'll put up probably right over here, a price breakdown. So we'll talk about the price of the bike, which was $25,995. That's the MSRP for it. These were, I believe, $26,999, so $2,699. So that's what we have on hand right now. On order, we also have the black line steering damper, which was $449, and we also have the TTX rear shock that again was around, I think it was $14.99 or $16.99, I can't remember. Again, we'll put the whole list right there, but what that does already, from the forks, the steering damper, and the rear shock, is set it up to a level that's on par, if not a little bit better than what the S is, and the S comes in at MSRP of $33,000. So if you think about it, and you add up what I just told you, you're at $30,000. So you're already cheaper than what an S is. Well, after we do the shocks, the forks, and the steering damper, I want to do the brakes, and I'm not necessarily going to change the calipers. Eventually, we might go to the really high-end GPM4 or GP4Ms, whatever they're called, calipers, just because I like going crazy with it. But I think we're gonna swap to the Z04 pads, and I'd like to do kind of like a cost-efficient series. Like, this isn't, I wouldn't say cost-efficient because that's expensive. You could definitely go cheaper by just doing the internals and then going that route and still getting a pretty good result. But I think for this, we're gonna do what I want and then kind of backtrack a little bit of what you could do on the cheaper side. And one of those things is going with a little bit cheaper or a little bit better pads with the current setup. And I also want to do that stock versus upgrade challenge to see how much better those pads are versus stock, again, after a break-in. The other thing I want to do is I want to change out these brake lines. There's these quick disconnect ones that are used in racing all the time, and I really want to get a full custom set of those on this, because I just think they're awesome. And as far as changing the calipers and all that other stuff out, it just makes everything a breeze. We're going to change out the master cylinder too. The Corsa Corta, I think 17 mil is what we might go with, and see how that goes. I've looked into Alpha Racing's rear or left-hand thumb brake to just kind of play around with those ideas. We'll see. But the steering damper, something I want to do is I want to change it from up here and actually put it around the side like in the racing bikes. That helps with more stability. And again, it's just sort of different to do. And I haven't seen one done on 25 V4R or V4 yet. So we'll kind of go that route. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask me, why in the world aren't you doing the exhaust yet? A few reasons. One, I want to break it in. Two, I'm trying to figure out which one I really want to go with. I'm honestly leaning more towards a Van Diemen when they actually get one developed for the 25. I think I like the way they look and they sound fantastic. But the other thing I want to do is I want to get, I guess they'd be stage 1 tunes from like Bren Tune. I kind of want to compare Bren, Upmap, and open flash, I think it is, to sort of see what they look like stock, you know, with a full stock bike, to see. I know it's not going to give you a ton of power or anything like that. I'm not really looking at that. I'm kind of looking more of engine characteristics. Does it smooth certain things out? Does it open things up? Does it cause issues? So I want to play around with some of those stage one, like stock tunes and tuning companies to really show you all which one may or may not work the best for you, especially because out here in Arizona, it's really hot. So getting tunings to work well is tricky. The other thing, when I actually get the exhaust and do all that stuff, you know, we want to do a tune. I think I found a shop locally that can do dyno runs. So I can do a stock versus whatever tune company, and then show what those dyno graphs look like with the different tunes on them, literally at the same time or on the same day, and show that video. So that's something else I have planned. Now, when I get the break-in done, this is going to go in for its initial service. That I'm going to have Ducati do. That's just one of those things. I like the initial service to be done by them. From that point on, all the maintenance will be done by me. And again, all the installation of everything will be done by me. So I'm slowly looking at like all the different parts we have and looking at the tools that I have, which isn't a ton, and looking at what I got to buy to actually complete all these tasks. But I'm super excited. I have a few ideas for the current panel situation, the colors. I have some things. I'm looking at Detail Lounge. It's a local DIY. Well, not really DIY. They kind of changed a little bit, but they do PPF and vinyl wraps and everything. And we were talking about a new line of color PPF that they have coming in. And I was thinking, once they come in, I'm going to look at the samples and see, you know, what different colors we can play with, because I want a PPF, even the red. So if I can change the red and still have and do the PPF at the same time, I think that would be super cool and ideal. Granted, I have a even longer vision of what I want to do with all this, and it's going to be pretty special and pretty epic, especially if I can pull it off, because it's painting that I've never done before. I've painted cars, but the type of paint I'm going to use and on the material that I'm going to use it on is going to be definitely new to me. So I'm pretty excited for that, but that's down the road. In the coming months, we have the forks to install. We got the break-in to finish. The shock is supposed to be here in June, I think, or September, one of those two. I think the shock may be September, and then the steering dampener will be here in June or some way around that. I have an NRC tail tidy coming as well. That's gonna come and take care of the whale tail in the back. We got some stomp grips to put on. So we do have stuff on order, and it's on the way. It's just obviously takes a little while. But I also, when I was thinking about the brakes, I was thinking about the rotors. I really like the rotors that are on the tricolore. So if I can source those, maybe we can slap them on here as well. There's a lot of things I want to do and is in work and actually purchased to do. So looking forward to that. What we're doing with this build is I want to push the base to a point that's what I think the R will be. Now, we saw pictures of the R and it's looking pretty gnarly, so I think we got our work cut out for us. But I think from a base model and from a cost perspective, I can show you the breakdown of what we can do. Again, we can go back and do the quote unquote cheaper route and see what can be done on a budget as well. So I think those two things married would make make these videos pretty interesting. The other thing that I'm dealing with is I can't ride right now. So as much as I want to get more miles on it, I physically can't. So we're just kind of playing around with what sort of videos we can put out, especially if I can't put the miles on the bike like I want, like little breakdowns like these. So stick around. This build video is gonna be a lot of fun. There's gonna be a lot of learning and some trial and error. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out all the rest of the content, and hey, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, get notifications when I do upload, because right now it's a little sporadic, but as I get better and parts come in, things will get more consistent. See you on the next one.